joyous light of God, perfection, accepting within your heart that nothing that you have known in this world can touch the brilliance of truth, that nothing of this world that has been made in the belief of separation can comprehend the joyous light that exists within you, and that as the mistaken identification melts away, that you discover this joyous light and accept it as all that is. In every moment, there is this exquisite calling that will gladly lead you back to truth. Every moment is an opportunity, is the calling to learn to bless with your heart, with your joyous light, to bless and offer love in every moment. And as that becomes the center of your life, the fears of scarcity fall away, and the fears of the past, belief in battle, start to disintegrate. You find more breathing room. You find your heart unburdening as you surrender into the hands of love, the hands of God, all that has been self-made, all that has been conjured up as an identity. In the world, it's like going to an ego buffet where you pick up identities and take them as real instead of the recognition that this buffet has no meaning. This buffet has no eternal life. It can look like a lot. It can look very complicated. It can even look impressive. But there is no light there. There is no joyous light. There is just a rule book that says, this is what I need to do to survive. There is no survival in love, because there is no death, there is no differences, there is no levels and degrees, there is no scarcity. From the experience of the past, the ego proclaims that cannot be true. We all have evidence. We all have an identity that we've held dear. But in the joyous light, those false identities are nothing but smoke and mirrors. And the name tags melt away. You look for the name tag and you can't remember. What was it that I thought I knew? What was it that was so important to protect, to defend, to conquer, to win, to prove? And the laughter begins. The joyous laughter. The joyous laughter that recognizes it was a cartoon. And all the characters were just drawn. And if you move fast enough, they look like they're meaning something. But go deeper, look deeper, invite the deepness to go beyond the cartoon of identity and embrace with your heart the truth of every beloved. Hold in your heart deeply that you are willing to see the joyous light that is beyond the form. And as you ask, you will be given. As you ask, you will be given. If you are unconsciously asking for battle and winning and proving, that is what you will see. When you are asking to see the joyous light, your heart will see it. In patience, in trust, in devotion. Your heart will be illuminated. Your heart and your mind will be illuminated into truth. Step by step, moment by moment, asking for the joyous light to be in your awareness, asking to see the innocence that is all that exists, asking to rest in the truth of love. Moment by moment, never grabbing anything from the past, never grabbing anything from the past to begin the story again and again and again, but truly coming empty. Empty the heart so that it can realize its fullness. Empty the mind so that the mind of God can fill your senses and open to the divine knowledge of love itself. in this moment, finding the willingness to surrender the mind, just the willingness to surrender the mind allows the divine alchemy of love to begin to thin out what you think you know. In this moment, asking, direct my heart and direct all my thoughts to the truth of love. In this moment, surrendering the senses that were made in the belief of separation and have been used to affirm battle, suspicion, and vengeance. To affirm through the senses the belief in sadness, the belief in turmoil, the belief in lack, all now surrendered. Surrendering the senses. As you surrender the senses, willing that the eyes and the heart come together and see the truth of love. And that the ears, the hearing, be only to hear the call for love, the song of love, the willingness to surrender the words to be loving and gentle, generous, kind, and humble. That all words be directed by the truth of God. That they no longer be your words made by your mind, but to truly be the words of love. The universal words of love. As all the senses are surrendered, they become useful. In the past, they could not be useful because they belonged to separation. And all that they could see and all that they could hear and all that they could speak was untruth. But as the senses are surrendered, they can be used by the Spirit of love and be used for healing, for remembering. Breathing deeply in this moment. The willingness for this to be a new day, the day of God. That in the surrender, nothing is kept for self. But everything is offered. And herein is the resting. And breathing deeply and fully. Bringing sacred breath to be in union with the breath of the universe, the breath of the universe, the pulsation of love itself that vibrates in everything. The willingness to meet and join that divine rhythm through holy breath. And as you breathe deeply and fully, surrendering the heart and filling the heart with holy breath, filling each cell with the breath of God by choice, by choosing, and accepting as you breathe deeply how powerful your choice is. The power to choose love or to choose fear is a constant choosing until the realization comes that there is nothing really to choose. It's been chosen, and it is. Breathing and surrendering the nervous system into the hands of God. No longer willing to have the nervous system used by the mind, expressing distress of any kind, nervousness of any kind, tension of any kind, all made up by the mind, willing and calling to do battle. Surrendering it all and allowing love to reveal itself, calling to you, leading you, blessing you, accepting the grace of love, the grace of God that is here in this moment, and accepting the grace of God and the divine healing is waiting to be invited. Waiting. Allowing as you breathe and affirming that here in the infinite circle of love we are one. The willingness to embrace every beloved as the Christ, as the light of the Christ. Not being able to see any differences between one beloved light and the light of the Christ. For all is the light of the Christ. Joyfully accepting the brilliance of every beloved and not allowing any comparisons to enter into the mind. Even though that habit has been ingrained in all the lifetimes that you've walked this earth, now all comparisons disappear. No differences in intelligence, no differences in holiness, no differences in the heart, no differences in anything that is actually real. And the belief in differences can then fall away, stuck and adhered to all the false identities that have been made up, disappearing. Offering love in every moment as the heart says yes. Peace, offering peace resting in peace, and that this is all that there is to offer. Peace. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. That life force of God is complete peace, is complete strength, is complete harmony, is complete joy, is complete awareness of all that is, except this true identity as one in the life force of God. This divine life force cannot be separated, cannot be diminished in any way. And no amount of closing the door to this light changes the light in any way. The light of God is always all that there is. There is only one presence here. It is love. This sanctuary is filled with love. This universe is all love. Finding the deep surrender of the heart to accept the truth of love. And breathing and allowing. Only love is real. Allow this prayer to be received in the heart by your choice. It is by your choice. Love leads and reveals itself. Receive this light and take it in your heart. Receive this light and give it freely. Oh, take my love and wear it in your heart. Receive my love and give it freely. Oh, take my love and give it to your heart. Receive my love and give it freely. I am the love you came in here to find. I am the love of a divine being. I am your love you came in here to find. You are a divine being. Take my love and wear it in your heart. Oh, take my love and give it freely. Take this love and give it to your heart. Oh, take this love and give it freely. Oh, take me home, receive me in your heart. Take me home, I'm here to love you. Take me home, take me into your heart. Oh, take this love and give it freely. Take my love and feel it in your heart. Oh, take this love and give it freely. Take this love and sing it through your heart. Oh, take this love and give it freely. Love is being offered all the time. Every moment, love is offering itself. Love is offering itself in divine teachings. Love is offering itself in the quiet space without thought. Love is offering itself in the guidance of love's healing that is offered for every moment. Love is offering itself within every relationship. Every relationship is the opportunity of offering love. Has no other purpose but to offer love. Receive the love so that it can be offered freely, joyously, fully. And you will open to the realization that as you offer love, love continues to pour. Never-ending abundance of love. When you are stingy with love, trying to be cautious, control, in the fear of being taken advantage of or being vulnerable, stops the flow of love. You are saying no on both ends. You are saying no to receiving love, and you are saying no to offering love. And then there is no way to recognize that offering and receiving love are the same. Always the continuous flow of love. But it is through your awareness of your generous heart, the generosity of truth, that refuses to see the beliefs of the past, of condemnation, of wrongdoing, of personal likes and dislikes, all of it surrendered. I'm here to love. I'm here to remember. I'm here to learn to love. Help me in every moment. Show me the way. Only for your love, Divine Mother, Divine Father, only for the truth of charity, of willingness to offer the truth of love. I'm asking for the truth of love in my heart, my Divine Mother of love. Only for the truth of love, we ask for healing in this moment, the healing of all beliefs of separation and limitation, all the stories that have been made in the name of knowing, the willingness to let it all go, the willingness to be healed here in this moment, to open the heart and remember, and to be healed of all that is necessary, the willingness to have the false identity unraveled and to come home to the truth of peace and harmony and everlasting joy. Apenas por vosso amor, apenas por caridade, a vós te damos louvor, ó Virgem da Castidade. Apenas por vosso amor, atendo nosso chamado, ajuda-nos a cessar, a curar a necessitados. Apenas por vosso amor, apenas por caridade, a vós te damos louvor, ó Virgem da Castidade. In the everyday life of the little mind, there's no awareness of all the love that is being poured and all the divine beings that are in service of your every movement, of your every moment. To be aware of all the divine beings that are serving love is to open to the love itself, to recognize the grace, the blessings that are always being poured. And the only thing that stands in the way of that grace and the blessings of love is the mind that is making up a story as it goes along, believing that it knows, and blocking the divine communication that is always ready to serve you. Always ready. Never takes a day off. Never worries about overtime. Never sighs with obligation. Never confuses getting with offering of love. Love is given completely freely because that is all that love is aware of itself. Love can't do anything else but to offer itself. Love never looks to get. There is no getting in love. There is no strategy possible in love. There is no scarcity in love. There is no planning in love. There is no disturbance in love. There's no apprehension in love. To learn the kindness of love, all that you are asked to do is to receive it, is to allow the divine communion of love to have its way, to truly lead your life. Then you will learn of love. You can't learn of love from the world. You can't learn of love from the past. And you can't learn of love from planning. You can't learn of love from your own ideas. Every time you have a separate thought, a personal idea, the door closes. You can reopen it in the next moment, but for that moment, it's closed. Because the message is, I'm busy with my own thoughts of what I think I know. And everything that I think I know comes from the belief of protection and defense. And love can't enter. But love is always waiting. And the divine beings of love never stop. They wait patiently for the yes. They wait patiently for the willingness. They wait patiently, aware that eventually there will be a yes. When the mind stops its insanity, you begin to hear that song of love. A song of love that is in everything, beyond the form, beyond the identity that's been made of it. In the quiet, yes, I'm willing. Show me the way. And love always responds. A saddle on every particle of space. Most are still a leaf spinning between heaven and earth. What can one see of their surroundings in a state of fragile or chaotic motion? Either settle on the ground and come to be aware of the astounding wonders and sing to us from there, or maybe sharpen up your meditations and get lifted higher and reside in the radiant stratosphere until you turn into such a fine holy ash you integrate with all. Put a saddle on every particle of space and ride like a wild cowboy. And just keep going with joy everywhere. While you sink your spurs deepen into all being and into what can be called God, who then just laughs. The ease of living with the divine truth of love. To want to be here in the moment and really open to what is really here, because everything is here. Heaven is here, not in anything that you know personally, but in truth, heaven is here. Heaven is here in the present moment. That's why the calling is so strong, so powerful, so insistent that you let go of the past, which means your entire identity. Everything that you learned to do, everything how you learned to think, how you learned to add up evidence, how you believed the world ran and runs, everything that you thought you knew about it, to surrender it all. The ego really wants to keep bargaining, really wants to keep playing a game of, okay, I'll find another way to compromise. I'll find another way that lets me stay thinking, because the thinking is so intoxicating to the ego. The thinking is all important to the identity of separation. Because the identity of separation is a thought. It's not real. But when you think it is, and you align your allegiance to that belief, it is completely true for you. And then that's all you see. When you ask to see a different world, it will be shown to you. But it's not going to be asked for, and it's not going to be shown to you until you accept that everything that all the masters have offered is the truth of your existence. To accept deeply, I am the light of God. Not as a word to say, or words to say, or to keep repeating like they're magic, but to truly accept that only the light exists, and that all the thoughts that have been conjured up have really no meaning. One of the first steps that everybody is aware of is the acceptance that everything that you believe is happening to you is coming from your own mind. It isn't coming from anywhere else. It isn't a conspiracy from the outside someplace. It isn't an inheritance. Who do you think you are? Who do you identify yourself as? Do you identify yourself as the product of others? As a product of other humans that were walking the earth? You see this as your inheritance, as your makeup, your description, your identity that is coming from someone in the past. And then those beloveds that you hold as your past must be also held in a false identity. Everything given an identity of separation. And love is calling to saddle up and ride the truth of love. Put a saddle on every particle of space and ride like a wild cowboy. That's not coming from an inheritance of beloveds that have been believed to be mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and lineage. All of it made up. All of it for nothing. And all the while refusing to set these beloveds free from your ideas of who they are, what they were. All of it surrendered into the hands of God and set free. Set free from any identification that was made in the past. When the truth of love is wanting to convey to you that you are love, why would you settle for an inheritance of limitation? Why would you settle for this minimal relationship of an identity? But you're also called to set everyone free from this, because it's only in your mind that you are holding these beloveds as hostages of a past. And then you're not available to meet them in love. To believe that it actually gives you something is a deep inquiry. Why would I want to be identified with pain and suffering of the past when the glory of truth is calling to me? When the glory of peace is wanting to heal everything that's been made up. How many times a day are there thoughts about what you think you know? And can you come to a place in those beliefs, in that relationship with these beliefs, of this will not tempt me to delay myself from love. This will not tempt me because I am not interested anymore. I'm not looking to be tempted anymore by false identities and holding others hostages of limitation and death. Believing that there is death. The call to forgiveness is the call to truly want to set every beloved free. To no longer hold inheritance of actions, of habits, the way you look, the way you act. All in the belief, all of that has been conceptualized from a false identity that you incarnated with that said scarcity is real. Immediately, scarcity is real. Immediately, abandonment is identified. Immediately, on incarnating, differences are acknowledged. Different smells, different scents of different beloveds, different looks, different actions, different stories, different ways of talking, different cultures. All of these are the differences that are attached to immediately because of the belief of separation. There is no abandonment. Abandonment does not exist except in the false mind of separation. If you continue to experience yourself as abandoned over and over again, of being unsure of yourself, of being trapped in a state that says, I don't know how to maneuver here because I'm a victim. I'm a victim of abandonment. I was lacking. I was left without. I was deprived. I was cursed. I was shunned. All of that is not true. You are the creation of God. Nothing else is true. There is no abandonment in God. No one is cursed in God. It's not possible. There's no lack in God. There's no lack in God's creation. There's no death in God's creation. There's not a possibility of God's creation being unfairly treated. It's not possible. It's not possible to be without as the creation of God. So when you accept that you are the creation of God, you are disowning the adoption of the world of the ego. Did you sign the adoption papers? Yes, you did. You signed your own adoption papers and said, I'm a separate self. I'm separate. I'm alone. I've been abandoned. I've been cursed. I've been unfairly treated. I've been rejected. That's what the adoption papers say. The adoption papers say, I will continue to seek and never find. I will be suspicious and I will hold vengeance as reality. The child of God walks freely. Child of God has no fear. The child of God has no relationship with abandonment. It's not possible. Child of God cannot be unfairly treated. There's nothing in love that can treat unfairly. When you tear up your adoption papers, you are saying yes to love. You're saying yes to the realization that to believe in abandonment is to believe that you abandon God, that you are believing in abandonment and seeing it in projection because you believe you abandoned God, that you left God. None of that's true either. The adoption papers were built on lies. of identity, affirming a world of false identity. But now it's the time to tear up those adoption papers, because they were never true. You don't leave the beloveds behind that you made the agreements with of the adoption. You recognize they are the children of God in oneness, and that your hand, your heart, is being called to be used for love, to invite them to come with you, to bring them into your heart, and to let them rest without conviction, without attack, without condemnation, without hatred, without fantasies, without stories. Invite them into your heart, your open heart. And accept that you are the creation of God. Why are the words mother and father used so often in the spiritual conversation of prayer? Mother and father. To recognize that you were created, and to accept the truth of divine creation, and to accept the beautiful, holy relationship of that creation, and to come back into oneness, not understood by the mind, but accepted by the heart. One heart, always in the yes of love. Most are still a leaf spinning between heaven and earth. Most are still believing in the adoption, in the identity that says everyone is separate and everyone has a separate story and everyone has a separate identity that has to be battled with. Doesn't exist. The illusion does not make the story real. If you accept that it's illusion, it can fall away. But again, love is calling to you. And when your mind is filled with identity and what you think you know, you can't hear the calling of love. But love is always calling, always calling. What you see reflects your thinking. So the question becomes, what do you think you see? When you accept what you see or what you feel as real, you will suffer. That's a guarantee. You will battle. Because everything that you think you see is coming from your own mind of the belief that you were separate and without, lacking. Is everybody's story different? Not really. Its use of degrees and levels is essential in order for you to believe that they're different, that it's personal, private, and it's where you came from, and that it identifies you, that it actually has reality. You buy the games that the ego plays, where beloveds are saying, oh, you sound just like your father. You sound just like your mother. It's like the same voice. And that becomes reality to you. Must be true. But where is my father? Where is my mother? The universe, divine love. This is not a rejection of the beloveds who came in the name of being mothers and fathers. This is the lifting, the uplifting of these beloveds out of the trenches of battle. By your choice, you can set them free. As you accept your own freedom. What you see reflects your thinking completely. There's nothing else influencing it at all. It's all, everything that you see is coming from your own mind. Why is this so essential to recognize in order to heal? Because as long as you believe that it is something else that you see, you will be engaged in doing battle with it on the outside. How many times, you can't count them, how many times have you been upset by something that you think you see outside you? 10 million? 100 million? Probably doesn't even come close. But to begin the journey of recognition that nothing outside is actually happening out there. It's all in the mind. It's all the thoughts from the past. It's all the made-up identity that keeps saying, I know, I know, I know, I know. What you see reflects your thinking, and your thinking but reflects the choice of what you want to see. That's even more disturbing to the ego. That you want to see what you see. How can that be? That you want to see what you see, when everything in you is saying, no, nope, I don't want to see that. No. Then how can it be otherwise? So that truth, that teaching begins to break through the trance of the beliefs that are running the thoughts. When you carry the belief in abandonment, you will see abandonment. When you carry the belief of death, you will see death. When you carry the belief of wrongdoing, you will see wrongdoing. When you carry the belief of guilt, you will see guilt. When you carry the belief of scarcity, you will see problems. You will see lack. This, again, is not a condemnation. This is the light beginning to shine and dawn. Because without this recognition of where the disturbance is coming from, it can't heal. It will not heal out there. You can be the greatest organizer that the world has ever seen. You can organize people. You can organize countries. You can organize whatever you want to. And as long as the belief is intact that what you see reflects what you believe and what you want. You will not see it any differently. No effort from the outside to the outside will change anything. You will never convince enough for someone else to be different. You will never convince enough or force someone to change something in order for you to be satisfied. You will never find the truth of your divine inheritance as the divine creation of God by holding the problem as being out there. It will not and is not possible to heal. The first step in healing is to recognize that everything that you think you see reflects what you want. And all that everything out there is your mirror that is allowing you to recognize what you're believing in. Because the ego doesn't want you to discover your upside down beliefs, because then they will be healed. But all day long, you have a mirror that you're looking at that's showing you exactly what you're believing in. If you see others as being in trouble, as having problems, as there being problems out there that you need to fix, there's a never-ending supply. But you will never come to a place of peace. You will never come to a place of awareness that, oh, peace is really all that there is. If I offer peace, I will see peace. If I recognize and accept that every beloved is the light of God, I will begin to see peace. Because I am no longer condemning, and I am no longer attacking what was never a problem to begin with, which was just a reflection. I will stop looking out there for the solution when the solution is in here. The solution is in the willingness to surrender all the thoughts into the hands of God and to truly want to be led. I could see peace instead of what I'm seeing now. In this teaching, I could see peace in this, it's a calling. I could see peace instead of what I think I see now. That is the place that says, I'm mistaken in what I think I see. And I'm willing to see it through love. I'm willing to see it because peace can be here. And as I let go of what I think I know, what I think I see, I have the opportunity of resting and blessing and surrendering what I believed was disturbing me to begin with. The belief that you can die, the belief that there isn't enough, the belief that you are an identity that needs to be improved all the time. You can't improve on perfection. To accept the light that you are and to accept the light that everyone is, because everyone is just, again, a reflection. To accept everyone as the divine is to no longer have a problem. To accept that the only problem is that you believe you're separate from God. is to really realize there is no problem. How many times a day do you believe that there's a problem? Or are you looking for a problem? And when there isn't a problem, you want to find a problem because that's what you're comfortable with? Is having problems? Yes. It's habit. Yes, it's an addiction. It's like being a boxer. You know? You're a boxer and you're used to being in the ring. And you hear the bell ring and you go. And you begin boxing. And fighting with whatever. Because the world is held as cruel. The world is held as the problem. The world is not the problem. The world is in your mind. And when you want to see the truth of the world, that the world is love, and that you want to truly serve that love, you want to serve the truth of love. This is the call to that love. Sharpen your meditations and get lifted higher and reside in the radiant stratosphere. Sharpen your meditations is just saying, let go of your mind and open to what is without your filter, your veil, your identity that you've put on everything and that you've seen everything through. This is a cleansing. And this is wanting to be cleansed of what never was. But because you have believed in it, it seems true for you. When you feel bereft, when you feel at a loss, when you feel uncomfortable, you believe it. When you feel angry, you believe that too. And immediately, and it's already there, but you find the place within you that says, I'm justified. You give it a reason. You want it to be right. You want the familiar of concern. You want to worry. You want pity to be real. None of it is real. None of it is true. No one is in danger. If you would accept for a second that no one is in danger, no one is without, no one is less, and no one is more. No one is wrong. No one is wrong. Ever. And no one is right. Ever. There is no right and wrong in perfection. There is nothing to battle with except in your own mind. To accept this is to truly, really allow healing. Because now you have come to the acceptance of where the disturbance is being held. It's not out there. I know it seems so real, when somebody has a look on their face that you can decipher, that you know what it means because you have seen it in the past. You are 100% sure you're right. And to surrender that is the leap of faith. It has been promised to me that what I see on this other beloved's face, I'm making up in my own mind, and I am projecting on them so that I can be right again. I'm seeing what I want to see so that my beliefs are validated. And I can stay in my belief of separation and stay in control. But that control, that belief that you're in control is completely fabricated. Completely fabricated. There's no possibility of being in control of anything. There's nothing to control. What do you think you control? You can't even control your own thoughts. And you think you're controlling things outside you? You're terribly afraid of everything that changes all the time. It's terrifying. Can't count on anything to stay the same. That's because you believe in illusion. The only thing that stays the same is love. It's the only permanence. Is love, truth, light, infinite existence. It never changes. But you're not available to that infinite truth because you're believing in a changing world and wanting to try to control it. As soon as you think you like someone's behavior, get ready. The roller coaster's going down the other side. And you're going to have the disappointment that your perception of them is going to change again. And what you thought you liked changed because your mind is the camera, the lens, and the story that's playing. And in the belief of separation, nothing in the temporary world of illusion ever stays the same. That's the one thing that you can count on, is that it never stays the same. It goes like this because then it keeps you guessing and keeps you fearful. Love doesn't change. Love, eternal love, can't alter. Your divine self can't alter. Nothing can change the truth of who you are. Nothing can change the truth of all existence. But when you make up beliefs of separation, you believe in everything being temporary, shifting constantly. When you answer the phone when it rings, do you hear God calling? Or are you thinking, what now? What am I going to be surprised by at the other end of this phone? You're going to be surprised by your own mind being reflected to you, and what you think you want and what you think you know. And you're going to, in a nanosecond, muster up some kind of defense system in your arsenal of defense to play the game, to pretend to yourself that you're in control. As if there is something to defend, something to try to stay holding tight of. Believing that there are problems is one of its favorites. How many times a day do you believe that there is a problem? How many times a day do you anticipate that there is a problem? That you can kind of just feel it lurking out there. You want something to worry about because that's what you're used to. Healing is the healing of addiction. It's an addiction to a false sense of self. a false identity, a false relationship with lack and death and differences that don't exist at all. And to project onto others the guilt of your self-hatred. It just keeps the game going. To constantly come back and accept there's nothing outside. What I see is a reflection of what I want to see, what I believe in. And yet, love is waiting to lead you home. Love is just waiting for your yes. Show me the way, and I will follow, because it's what I came here for. That recognition of this is what all the journey was about. Finding your true purpose. Your purpose of remembering. Your purpose of saying yes to God. Of saying yes, my father, my mother. Show me the way. With all of the divine beings of love, show me the way. With all the whispering and guidance, show me the way. Show me how to open my heart. Show me how to offer love. I haven't ever offered love before. Show me, please. Let me take in every teaching until I'm so full that I fall asleep from the fullness. Take my mind and use it for love. Open my heart and use it for love. The power of God, the power of the universe can heal everything that's been made up. It's not a self-healing process. You're not the doer. Receive. Receive the calling, receive the direction, receive the love, receive the way, receive the gifts, and receive the truth so that you can really surrender all the made-up identity that was never true. Not true of you, not true of your inheritance, not true of your legacy, not true of the past. Not true. I'm the child of God. I'm the creation of God. Let those be the words you wake up to. Let the words of love sing in your heart. Take me home. Receive me in your heart. I'm here to learn to love. Not to keep repeating the past. Let me take every day with a teaching that is wanting to lead me in that day. Let me not worry about the length of time in the journey of love, but to surrender the belief in time and let it be used for love. Not to compare with anyone else, whether they are further along in the journey or further behind in the journey. It's all made up. All made up. everything surrendered into the hands of God. To let illusions walk ahead of truth is madness. Let truth walk ahead and lead you, instead of giving the future to illusions by your choice. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. And tear up the adoption papers of a false identity. When you tear up the adoption papers, you don't tear them up with resentment of the past. It just never existed. Bless every beloved and hold them all as the light of God, as one, returning to oneness. Healing is here now. Love is here now. Truth is here now.